Hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. So, today I wanted to talk about branding and how to tell a story to bring people into your identity. See, the thing that I think I've noticed in most worlds, and when it comes to marketing and advertising and trying to reach a certain demographic, everyone has been taught sales tactics. This is how, over the years, it's worked. If you do these things in this sequential order, you'll get this result. And after a while, people start doing it to the point that it becomes disingenuous and they forget the purpose of what they're trying to do. Anytime you're building a brand, my first thing I tell people is, what's your identity? Who are you? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to be? What are you trying to fulfill in someone's cycle of need? At the end of the day, anybody who starts out in this world, may it be an advertiser or a person who just created this product that you know it will help other people live their lives in a much easier way. At least that's what you would hope for most products that are created. That's when you have to remember again the emotionality, the feeling, the reason why. This is what brings in the purposefulness to your brand. If you just create something because you see it's a trend and it's selling, yes, you will make money. That is a guarantee because it's a trend and everyone wants it. And people, as our hedonism works, we don't care about the quality after a while. We just care about having the prototype, the template. As long as it looks like what everybody else got, I feel a part of the group. And this is where we start losing the value to our brands. I've seen many people come to me because I do branding with, whoever wants to rebrand themselves. What I'd like to teach is if you are only looking for sales, then you're going to keep losing because there's so many new brands who are realizing, and the legacy brands who have been around for decades, they understand that it's about reaching the consumer at their level of need, not just creating this thing that again is going to sell off the shelves. You'll make a ton of money, quick money, quick money. Now you're always in this mindset of trying to hustle to catch up. Because remember, I've heard many people say this, and may you agree with it or not, who cares about building the business? Make the first sale. That is such an old linear system of thinking because great, you made the first sale. Did you plan on being successful? Do you have inventory? Do you have people who are able and willing to help you organize and streamline the way your business the way you see fit? Because after a while, this is the point, people forget to plan for success. Now you have these people who put out this, I call the precursors. Oh, we're currently out of stock, or we're so sorry, the orders will be there in 3 months, or, I have a bunch of other customers, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up. To me, I do not like hearing any creator or person say that to their audience or their clients because you're saying, I'm a person, you got to give me a break, but you're telling us you're a business, you should be prepared. See, this is the exchange we forget as creators that we have to step into our masculine energy and know that there's responsibilities that are meant to be had. Remember, the feminine energy is the creation, the imagination, the free flowing energy that you're like, I made this thing and it's out there in the world. But the world is like, great, what function does it serve to my purpose? And if it's only about your passion and why you feel it needs to sell, then that's what, again, it will streamline your business. There's many people who have made success out of this, but the reason that they have competitors is because they leave little holes and pockets of things that need to be fulfilled that could have been fulfilled the first round, but instead people like to go back and try to fix things that they see they could have worked on versus just, having a prepared product, having a prepared company, having a prepared state of mind to understand that your branding is the identity. Do you understand? Again, there's brands like the NFL is the NFL. You would think because of the football players. No, the NFL is just really good at pomp and circumstance and making everything feel like a big event. Remember, in these sedentary lives, in these extended lives, in this human experience, everything feels much longer than it needs to be. So this company and entity, I was trying to put the words together, they realized, let's make this something fun for everyone. It's a family thing. It's not just a race or culture. No, it's an everybody thing. Even if there's people who have politics attached to it that's made it misunderstood, the point is the business itself as a brand, they represent something grand to people. You understand? So if you are going in with the mindset of, so for me, example, or as an example, my brand is emotions. Anything that anyone feels, I can talk about. Why? Because I'm a human being who has my own experience, who can tell you my story. And if my story relates to your story or correlates or resonates or whatever words we choose to use, then we start to feel connected to that person, that brand, that product. Because remember, anytime we buy something, we're fulfilling a need. Think about it. When you're at home, like, oh, I need to, you know what? I need to buy that. I need to buy that. Why? Because you see there's something in your life that is lacking, as in, I could do this more efficiently. If I had this product, I could do this. At least this is the story we tell ourselves. Again, everything in life is a tool, and how you choose to use it, that is how you yield your sword. But if you feel the need that this is a quick fix, I can buy this will help me, that is the point of sharing your imagination as a gift of the physical. This is how we give back to each other. This is how spirit gives back to us. Remember, we've always lived off the earth. The thing that Gaia could do for us and always does for us, our mother earth, gives us food, nourishment, air, water all the time. That is the abundance. But people have wasted it in their delusion of what they think they need to solve something that they haven't identified with. You understand, when people buy like a brand of a car or fashion, if everyone's buying it, they don't have any intent or real meaning behind it. They're buying it because everyone else got it. And so then when the trend wears off, you have this piece of fabric or material that you don't care about. But let's say there's a little trinket that like it means so much to you because it happened during an emotional success, downfall, whatever. It's a memory that you choose to keep. That trinket has more power in it than any value product someone tries to place in front of you. You understand? So this is why it's important to know who you are when you're walking into the world of business. I've seen many people. The reason I want to make this video is because there's so many people out there with business mindsets, but they've been hardened through distortion and they become these alpha masculine energies that crap on everyone and forgets that the people that you have creating content and creating these visuals for you to put your product and your vision out there, that's feminine energy. So that's abusing the feminine energy. So this is why it's important for feminines to understand how to not only curate their ideas into physical form, but also know how to translate that over into a success that says, this is why I do it. And I do deserve monetary gain for it. There's so many artists who are like, oh, I just do it because I love it. Great. So does Mother Nature. But Mother Nature has been abused, and Mother Nature's like, no, you have to take care of me. Because if you don't, I will make you all extinct. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But Mother Earth loves us, and she doesn't want to do that. And this is why we have the sun. Again, without the sun, we're not living. This is our father energy. So we have everything we need. So to create realities around someone else's want makes no sense to me. There's enough to share. Everyone literally can create something. And again, I always say, look at all the restaurants, all the bus stops, all the cars. If there's enough of these industries that can literally recycle the same product back to you with a different color and a different shape, and you still buy it, that's the point. There's abundance for everyone. So when you create a brand, don't just create a brand that's only trying to sell something that's in demand at the time. Because as we know, human beings are fickle. We understand this about ourselves because we're able to connect to our source and then go into a deeper place to recreate or enhance something. And so this is where we have to allow ourselves to really identify with the creations we put out into the world. Again, sometimes it's not just about trying to, sorry, something's in my eye. It's not about trying to create to always make a profit. If a profit is what you seek, then once you get your profit, what's your next level? What's your next enhancement? Because that's honestly what abundance is about. This is how you start creating legacy brands, because they're like, okay, this is just a piece of clothing, but my piece of clothing makes you feel special. It makes you look good. It makes you feel like you're important. It gives you confidence. That's all it is an emotion. Everything we create is just to apply it to a sense of feeling how we want to in that moment in time, which then creates an emotional memory that we're able to tap into anytime we need to seek reference to something that we, as the identifier of our brands that we're creating and the products that we're producing and the content we put out, know that it's going to reach someone and help them. We're at the point now in the world that we get it. Everyone can crap on top of everyone, and look at where we are. But we can also just clean up after ourselves and make sure that when we create, we're thinking ahead about how it's going to affect the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. Don't get me wrong. You can make your products that have fun and they're temporary and they're just for that hedonistic moment. But remember, if you want to create a legacy brand, knowing how to identify yourself, the creator, with your team, with the environment you live in, within the system of politics you choose to work in, how is it going to affect that long journey? Most people plan for the short term. I literally have projects planned out years in advance before I put them out. And even though it might seem slow to someone else, I know that I'm building a very steady, locked in foundation. And by the time I reach that level of boom, it, the success came out of nowhere. That's how it works. That's how when you see these people, the overnight successes and all this stuff that happens to them, it's because you didn't see all the work that they put in behind the closed doors. And so you have people who have these pop-up companies and they seem like they're thriving, and then months later they're gone, or they're constantly rotating their merchandise, or they're constantly trying to expand on an idea that they never yet comprehended from the first place on how to really have a hold of it. Trust me, there's a lot of brands out there, they have the same product and they just keep redoing it, and great. If people use it, they use it. But that's when you become what we call a genre based company. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, you have to know that when you want to rebrand yourself and be a universal brand, not just a genre brand, you have to start attaching your emotions to what you're creating and giving a real need that's going to fulfill someone else's, again, their healing journey, their process of want. We as humans know that we can create anything we want anytime we need it. And so, therefore, knowing this, isn't it much better to know that you're creating intentful products and intentful brands and intentful identities, so that the next generations, when they grow up, they don't feel like they're living in a long commercial. When I grew up, there wasn't that many commercials, honestly. But out of nowhere, the ads have popped up everywhere, and you have people inundating you every day, all the time, about things that don't matter to you. And because we live in this inundation of, again, subconscious conditioning and hypnosis, we start believing we need things that we actually don't need. And then the thing we do need, we look at it as trivial. So it's time to switch this paradigm. It's time to really think about how you're investigating, how you're building and encouraging your energy to become something that has meaning. Because in order to really know what meaning is, you have to investigate your own emotions. And in order to create something that others can need, you had to have had the moment of like, you know what, this helped me, it might help someone else. That is the most earnest moment of when you're building your brand. And everything that I do at Epicinity and Simple Syrup Productions and everything I do with eqwjah, it's all about giving back the emotional understanding that you're not alone. You're not alone. Everything I do is about helping people know whatever you might think you're going through alone, I might have an answer. It doesn't mean that it's going to fit your life perfectly, but if it maybe there's something laced in there that you can use. Maybe there's a seed you can take away and plant later. Maybe something might activate you in a place and a time that you didn't recognize you even needed activation, because you trust in the brands that and the content and the materials and things that you put into your life. Again, I'm trusting this shirt to keep me warm and to keep me covered because the stitching is done properly. I'm trusting this hat because it's the littlest things that seems so funny to say, but it's true. I have to trust my phone and my camera to do what they were built to do. So this is why I trust these brands. They bring me solace in my life. They bring me calmness, happiness, whatever. And acknowledging that is how you begin to identify who your tribe is. Who am I talking to? Who am I selling to? And not creating brands that keep conducing people to believe they have to act a certain way to be that brand. This is again the distortion that I've talked about many a times in past videos. When you live in a distorted world, then you create distorted brands that sell to distorted people, and if they're buying the most popular demand thing, then people think this is the norm. This is how important branding and advertising and marketing are. So when you have these people out here who are hyper romanticizing something that most of society is like, that's just not okay. Not judgment because we feel we have authority of, but we also recognize when something is an imbalance and morally it just doesn't feel right. When something doesn't sit right with you because morally you understand, not based on religion, based on the universal laws of the world, this should not be happening. No one should have to suffer like this. That is a universal law. No one should have to suffer because of someone else's insecurities about who they are. And so when we create branding around these false identities, then we get false impressions, we get false feedback, we get false information because out of nowhere, people flip and understand that emotionally this is not what we desire or we want. And so then they're able to walk away from your brand and find other brands that suit who they are. So hope this made sense. Everything I do, like I said, this is like my business side of my videos, but everything I do is still going to be spiritually laced. So everything you should do in your life should be spiritually based. It shouldn't just be at home or at church or whatever. It should be in your daily life. That don't mean going to work and trying to preach something, some religion or scripture to someone, but I mean owning who you are at all times so that you yourself become the brand and you represent who you are. And this is what people love to buy. This is what people love to be a part of. People will invest in you if you invest in yourself. And then that gives you the ability to invest back into everyone else. All right. I love you guys. As always, thanks for watching. Check me out on all my social media platforms, as well as checking out my new book, The Rebirth, Reactivating Our Emotional Consciousness, now available on Amazon. Also, just to bring up a note from the archives, don't forget about my podcast, I Am Knowing I Am, on Spotify and other streaming platforms. As always, I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Besos.